Fernando Torres and Steven Gerrard are driving Liverpool onwards at home and in Europe. Both scored against Newcastle in the Reds' fight for the vital 4th place in the Premier League. The Benitez boys need to keep up their domestic form today against Reading, who come to Anfield on the back of 2 wins in a row. Steve Coppell's players were the first to beat Liverpool in the league this season. The return is coming up, and it's live. Hello once again, I'm Martin Tyler and this is Anfield. A chance today for Liverpool to gain revenge for one of only 3 Premier League defeats this season against Reading, who beat them 3-1 in December. Well, it's all quiet across Stanley Park. Everton play tomorrow and they're away at Fulham, but Evertonian eyes on today's events at Anfield almost as much as the Liverpool fans inside the stadium itself, with 4th place and the chance of Champions League qualification seemingly between the 2 Merseyside clubs. But Liverpool, of course, are still very much in this season's Champions League. They get a real ovation here for the efforts to knock out the Italian league leaders Inter on Tuesday night. When Fernando Torres was the match winner in that second leg, but over 2 legs the damage was done, and Rafa Benitez rightly proud of those achievements, but he knows he's got to keep an eye on league form as well. Well, maybe not a typical post-European week selection from Rafa Benitez. He has stood down just 2 of Tuesday's heroes, Sami Hyypiä and Lucas. Arbeloa is in at right back with Jamie Carragher switched back to the centre of the defence. And Xabi Alonso, who missed the San Siro for a happy event in his personal life, returns to midfield. 6 straight wins for Liverpool. Only 2 outfield players have started all 6. They start again today, Steven Gerrard and Fernando Torres. Reading stay with the side which has posted vital victories at Middlesbrough and at home to Manchester City. Shane Long still keeping out their top scorer, Dave Kitson. Well, last season, Steve Coppell came to Anfield with a very defensive formation, 5 at the back, but fortified by recent results and some Spanish sunshine at the start of the week, Reading say that they're ready to have a go at Liverpool today. In this fixture last season, Dirk Kuyt got the 2 goals in a comfortable 2-0 Liverpool win. James Harper not only scored against Liverpool in Reading's 3-1 success back in December, but he got a crucial winning goal. Reading's only away win so far this season, the last time they travelled at Middlesbrough. This is what Steve Coppell calls a no-lose fixture, because everyone expects Reading to be beaten. They've got more vital games to come, like next Saturday at home to Birmingham City, whose manager Alex McLeish is here on scouting duty today. His side don't play until Monday, their next game. Sampling the Anfield atmosphere alongside me, Davy Provan. And although Liverpool delighting in Europe, they know they have to continue in a winning vein in the Premier League.
Yeah, they certainly do, Martin. What I would say is that I think if Steve Coppell had the choice, he would rather play Liverpool off the back of a big European game. I'm not saying there's going to be any physical tiredness in Rafa Benitez's side, but sometimes with a little mental flatness.
Well, it's Doyle dispossessing Aurelio, as if there was a little bit of flatness then. And goes Liam Rosenior. 4 league wins in a row for Liverpool. Goals have been flying in. The combination of Torres and Steven Gerrard coming from just behind him have been very special. Going to try and do it again. Reading with their chins up, with the hands up there with Stephen Hunt. Hunt scored the penalty against Liverpool that was conceded by Jamie Carragher and awarded by today's referee, Andre Marino, who's got the return fixture as well as being in charge of that match at the Medeski before Christmas. Skirt. Gerrard. Who does he look for? Torres. That counts in the middle. Andre Biquet makes sure he wraps some of his right foot around that. He's getting away from his own goal. And a deflection from the Alonso volley.
Unfortunately enough for Hanneman, it took most of the pace off the ball.
Here's Long.
You can see Stevie Coppell's as good as his word, Martin. Reading have come here to play, trying to meet Liverpool as high up the pitch as they can.
With John Oster, and he's found Rossini not that high up the pitch where the pass went, and the right back's got a chase back. Here's Dirk Kuyt. Arbeloa in support. Away by the Reading captain today, Inge Marsson. Mascherano, who was outstanding again in Europe on Tuesday. Alonso. Aurelio. Plenty back for Reading. Kuyt trying to sneak in, BK with eye on the ball. To Ryan Babel. Gerrard with the back heel. Trying to get a foot in. So Reading, after one or two early flurries, are now rather on the back foot. Torres, who needs one goal to reach 20 in the Barclays Premier League this season. It's not been achieved by a Liverpool player since the heydays of Robbie Fowler in the 1990s. Rossini. Got across. A real compliment to Shane Long. But he's keeping Kitson on the bench. By Shorey, hoping to be named in the next England squad. Hunt, pursued by Arbeloa, who has been penalised here. It's a free kick to Reading.
Well, I think it should have been a corner, if anything. Arbeloa, for me, took plenty of the ball there. Even him trying to get up the outside, I think you see there he took plenty of it.
Typical busy run by Hunt. And Liverpool are defending very deep here, as if it was a corner. And Reading come up with a... What a goal! What a goal from Matyjowski. They came up with a variation on the theme, and Matyjowski has hit that into the top corner brilliantly.
You have to travel a long distance to see a better strike than that. Absolutely magnificent. And the difficulty here for him is there is so much pace in the ball, but he strikes it absolutely on the button. And Liverpool, as you say, Martin, very, very deep. They try to get out to the ball, but he's got time to set himself, and he will not strike the football any better than that.
It's his first goal for Reading, and he will not get a better one than that. The ball actually just sat up as he struck it, which seemed to make the strike more difficult, but if it was the case. As Steve Coppell rather blinks and scratches his head almost in disbelief. His hometown club, of course, that Reading are facing here. And Reading lead at Anfield through an absolute beauty from the international from the Czech Republic, Marek Matyjovski. That's made the inspiration against Internazionale seem a little further away. Might be in again here, the same player.
A good run from Shane Long to take Arbeloa from the right back position into the central area. All of a sudden it opened up nicely on the left-hand side. As we said earlier, Stevie Coppell's side have certainly come here to play, haven't come to sit in.
Well, you raised the question, David, should it have been a free kick in the first place? But all credit to the invention that Reading showed from it. Arbeloa was the player who was penalised. Maybe he did get a little bit of the man before he got the ball. That obviously how referee Mariner saw it.
Well, I think he got plenty of the ball here, Arbeloa. It's sole of his boot that he takes the ball out of play, and it makes it a more generous angle for Reading to play the free kick in. But having said that, you won't see a better goal in what remains of this season. Absolutely stunning.
Pepe Reina is actually on a run to try and beat a record held by Ray Clements for clean sheets in his first 100 games. He's equal with Clements. And he's got, well, not one today. He's got actually 2 more games after this. They're away to Manchester United and home to Everton. So I think he might have been looking at this as his big chance. Mascherano tries to come up with something similar for Liverpool. Oster lost it and then fouled Alonso.
Of the soft variety, I would say, maybe just enough to convince the referee. A very nice range here for Liverpool.
The first real chance to hit back for maybe Steven Gerrard, but maybe Fabio Aurelio. Actually is looking just to get it to a straighter position for Gerrard to hit. So they've got another plan. It's Alonso. Aurelio. Well, you have just seen Reading's first Premier League goal at Anfield, and I'm sure you'd like to see it over and over again. Here's Torres, though, with the right of reply.
It's Babel who was looking for the front post, but Torres, as usual,
Almost clipped the top of the crossbar. Wasn't really what Xabi Alonso had in mind.
I think he's trying to knock it into the back post. This was a Torres ball in here. Babel making his way to the front post, but Torres, as usual, with his head up, trying to pick Kuyt up, and that's a back post cross. Well, they almost got lucky.
Trying to wet the head of the new addition to the Alonso family. Son was born while his teammates were making an addition to their Champions League schedule by qualifying for the quarter-finals. Good tussle, this. Already had an impact on the game. Not giving a problem or two to Alvaro Arbeloa.
Just so frustrating for white players, this, you know, when they're out-muscled here. Referee will tell you, as long as Arbeloa is within playing distance of the ball, it's not a free kick, but you try telling Stephen Hunt that.
BK's header. Here's Babel. It's Rosinia. Torres going near post, BK going with him. Andre Mariner points for a corner.
Terrific change of pace from Babel to get him down the outside there, in behind. Flooding the penalty box once he does hit the byline here. Just can't lift the ball, get any elevation, no, not at all. Queuing up at the back post.
by Doyle, who wants it back here. Hunt went for a more ambitious pass. Aurelio. Liverpool just trying to rid themselves from an early shock to their system. Rosenior certainly knows a bit about Ryan Babel. They played against each other, England under-21s and the Dutch under-21s in the epic semi-final back end of last season. It looks to me as though Babel has grown more powerful, filled out a bit, and Rosenior was on the receiving end of some of that power just a moment or two ago. Shorey. Doyle, who also scored in the 3-1 win on Medeski.
So pretty, just a little bit heavy with the pass, but made a good angle there, Kevin Doyle, to slide the reverse into the channel for Stephen Hunt. Always dangerous on the break. Reading, they have been backed up. Sat pretty deep at the moment because of this Liverpool response, but I think Liverpool can switch off at the back for a moment.
Scoring first in matches has been profitable for Reading this season, but scoring early at Anfield is no guarantee of success. So whatever happens in the remainder of the game was a goal of true glory. But there's Gerrard, here's Torres, out comes Hanneman. Very fine goalkeeping from the USA international, as Reading were really exposed for the first time.
It's a wonderful pass from Gerrard.
Shorey getting the run of the ball against Kaut. Carragher on Doyle.
It was very lively, Hanneman, and he had to be, but the weight of this pass is exquisite, and Torres knows if he makes the run, the ball will arrive, and the angle and the weight is perfection itself. Keeper did well. Beaky taken right out of the game with the ball inside him.
They are made for each other, those two. Doyle. Reading fans in that corner of the ground, around where the corner is now to be taken. They would have had a wonderful view of the goal. Oster takes, came out to Harper, couldn't quite match Matyjowski. Before the game, David, that James Harper's actually a top-class table tennis player, and he's going to play in a tournament involving Jamie Redknapp on Monday, which will be on television, and he's worth looking out for in that respect. I think he got the spin quite right with the shot, though. But Matyjowski, his fellow central midfield man, Harper's supposed to sit, and Matyjowski is allowed to push on, but well, just waiting for that cleverly worked free kick, and an absolute stunner of a shot. And here we are, this is the Barclays Premier League. Liverpool with twice as many points as Reading. Liverpool have lost 3 matches, Reading have lost 17. And yet it's Liverpool 0, Reading 1. Forward by Harper. Away by Aurelio. Matyjowski gets to it first. John Oster, I think they've forgotten that he used to play for Everton. It was a long time ago. And Oster arriving here. I won't remember if he gets his name on the score sheet, but Reina plucked it from his toes. And then BK seeing the goalkeeper off his line. It was an imaginative effort.
Well, he's every right to take it on because Reina is well out there. I'm just surprised that Oster pulled out of this challenge here. This is 50-50 with Reina. Did the goalkeeper a favour, I think, by pulling out.
And it came to Bike, who certainly bought a ticket for the raffle, but it wasn't a winning ticket. Bike got back in the team in place of Sonko and Cisse. They were the two in possession when Reading were spiralling downwards. Now it's Ingimarsson, of course, regaining his spot. Bike has not played that often, but certainly developing his game. And played in the African Nations Cup for Cameroon. Missed out on the final through suspension. Those two out, and Bike and Ingimarsson in. Gerrard!
Well, the moment he got goal side of James Harper, one thing in his mind, get the volley away. Did well to spin here, and Harper was caught wrong side. A nice little pocket of room here for Steven Gerrard to get the shot away. Nobody coming out to squeeze.
The top two English-born scorers in the Premier League so far this season. Steven Gerrard with 10, but Dave Kitson with 9. Can't get in the Reading team to add to his tally, although he came on as a substitute and scored in the last game, the win over Manchester City. Matyowski. Long. Oh, there's a ball on here for Oster, and it's not a good ball. Not at all. What a chance to set up a second for Reading.
Certainly was. What a costly pass that was. 2 against 1 in the left-back position, and what a mess they made of it.
Blocking the attempted cross by Aurelio, but it was Shane Long who got his radar all wrong, looking right. Babel. Alonso. Mascherano. Aurelio trying to run in behind Reading here. Up in the air rather than towards his teammates. Matyowski. Trying to get there first. Skirtle trying to stay with him. Carrigan. And Gerrard. Liverpool sounding out Reading's defensive qualities. Been very prominent this season. Steve Coppell would admit to that. And too leaky at the back, and Mascherano takes them on. Oh! Well, we've seen inside 20 minutes 2 glorious goals. Matyowski's first for Reading, followed by Mascherano's first for Liverpool.
Well, the key here is just getting away from Stephen Hunt, because it's Stephen Hunt who is closest to him as he picks the ball up here. A little change of pace takes him in behind Stephen Hunt, gets it onto his right side. And again, it's a very special strike. I think you see him move slightly left to right, always moving away from Hanneman. And the power alone is enough to find the inside of that right-hand post.
I've heard about the night of the long knives. We've got the day of the long shots here. It was a good job there was a net there to stop that, because it might have done some damage to spectators if it had been wide of the post. Well, anything he can do, Mascherano believes he can do better, and perhaps as... well, I don't know. Matyowski's shot with the ball coming across him was an outrageous technique. You can make up your own minds, but they've been great to describe, I have to tell you. Bowled out by Pepe Reina. Rosenia could have put that out. Double a chance to take it on, those two number 19s. We've got a great contest there as well as we have between Hunt and Arbeloa on the opposite side of the field. Free kick to Liverpool.
I think this one to give away there from BK. He's got Torres exactly where he wants him, back to goal, nowhere to go. Chance for Scuttle and Carragher to come up back post.
Gerrard to serve it up here, only into the gloves of Hanneman. I think the problem Hanneman had with the Mascherano shot was that, was it Harper who was just trying to close down Mascherano, and the goalkeeper couldn't have seen it until it passed his teammate. Throw into somewhat sharper relief the wasted pass by Long.
Yep.
They had Oster to set up, clean in at Reina at 1-0 up.
The fact that Mascherano was on the edge of the Reading box, or only a few yards outside, it tells you just how deep Reading had been penned back at times.
Pass done by Kaut. Reacting to it typically was Torres. Looked as though that might have crossed the line, but Arbeloa. Marcus header down, Mascherano. Get up, says referee Mariner. But he does blow his whistle when Matejovski raised a foot.
He's brave enough to put his head in there, Alonso. Matejovski certainly wasn't for pulling out, and he is high. Alonso determined to win it. And not one here for Hanneman, it's dead centre here.
Right foot, left foot option again for Liverpool. Stand it up. Arm was raised for an indirect free kick. Shuri shot it away from Kaut. Good pressing from the Dutchman. Been a bit of a scourge to Reading, certainly last season. And Liverpool did the double over. But then Premier League novices, really. They're learning fast. They're having to learn fast in this second season. Harper, Mascherano. Benitez knows the importance of this fixture, bearing in mind what he's got coming up in the Premier League. Manchester United away, Everton at home, Arsenal away. That Arsenal away game is now sandwiched between two Champions League quarter-finals against the Gunners. And it's fair to say, David, at the end of that period of matches, we'll know how Liverpool's season is going to shape up.
Yeah, big time. So the one thing he also knows is that he can't afford to rest anybody in terms of the Premiership.
Ingemars. Well, we mentioned that position of real potential for Shane Long. Here it is again.
Well, Oster does well. He's just got to hold here, keep himself on side, and he's anticipating that, been rolled in front of him. And Stevie Cottle understandably knows that might have changed the complexion of the game.
85 seconds later, it was 1-1. Ingimarsson and Torres. Worth asking the question of the assistant. There. A nudge, David?
Yeah, a little nudge, but I think most centre-backs do that. They can get away with it, and he does, but nothing Hannemann could do about this effort. And it is Harper who goes out to the ball as he gets goal side of Hunt. And he sees it very late, Hannemann, not convinced that he got there anyway, such as the power on it.
Oster, taken on by Rosenior, but break of the ball against Aurelio, can stand up across here. Long going for it, in fact the flag's gone up, the ball bent out of play.
Just a little bit of backspin in the ball there that helped keep the ball in for Rosenior. Just here, ball just checked a little bit. And that's gone out, just didn't quite get his foot around it properly.
Babel being encouraged to shoot. From what we've seen so far, Reading shouldn't be giving any encouragement for long-range Liverpool.
I think that's the point that Rosenior is making to the two centre-backs. He's saying get out a bit quicker. Once he comes inside, somebody has to go out to him.
It was a long way wide. It's way below the standards of the long-range shooting we've seen so far. Very different from Reading's approach in this fixture last season. Trying to park the bus in front of the goal, so to speak. Babel. Getting to his man this time. Chance for Liam Rosenior, didn't break into the Reading team straight away when he moved from Fulham. He'd fallen down the pecking order. Carragher. Babel.
Checked out of it, didn't he? That's what Stevie Gerrard's saying to him. Thought he was going to make the run. Babel just checked out of it.
We'll talk about the amount of goals, 45 of them, that Gerrard and Torres have got between them this season, but Reading pegged back here by a player striking his first for the club. Matioska. Mascherano. Hunt going infield is left some room here for Arbeloa. Cowd. Seems to be more a wide man than the central striker for Rafa Benitez these days. Wide on the opposite flank is Babel, picked out beautifully by Mascherano. Still Babel! Well, there was venom in that.
No, he does brilliantly because he's 2 against 1 here, Babel, because Oster's back providing the cover. And he just shifts it onto his right side. He's going to do very well to score from that angle, but what a good effort.
Good work by Hannemann. It's Carragher, and then the Skirtle. Carragher's back on his feet. Back post, but he's not needed. In near post, the flag is denying Babel his moment, though.
Steven Gerrard looking at the assistant. The flag, to be fair to him, was up immediately. Terrific ball whipped into the front post from Steven Gerrard. Reading trying to clear the penalty box, and I think they do well enough here. At least a yard offside, Ryan Babel.
Yeah, it's a good compliment to their coach, Wally Downs, who does a lot of work on the defensive side of Reading's play. Earlier, maybe seen Kevin Dillon alongside him there. The assistant, Barry Sigmuta, eagle-eyed. Might have wondered the Reading coaching staff when the back line rather backed off a little earlier. They weren't caught too deep then, and what Liverpool thought was a second goal was immediately ruled out. It's been a very good opening half an hour here from the neutral perspective. 1-1. Carragher was substituted at the Medeski. The changes were seen as an admission of defeat late on in that game by the critics of the Liverpool manager. He's, as so often is the case, come back with some strong answers, and his side are flowing with success at the moment. These 6 straight wins, 4 in the Premier League, and the home and away success over Inter. They haven't got themselves in front as yet against Reading. Mascherano will come for Dirk Kuyt. Gerrard's pass, Babel finding the space and the ball. Arbeloa, Kuyt is in the middle here. It comes for Dirk Kuyt. Well, it was too high, but not by much. Clean connection.
The centre-back's backed off, and Kuyt just held his position there, found a nice little bit of room there. I think it's Ingemarson who loses Kuyt. Instead of making his way into the front post, just holds here. Awkward one, ball's on the up as he strikes it. But he'll put that down as a half chance.
Shortage of goals from open play. I think that's seen Dirk Kuyt been moved out of the middle to this position in the system that's certainly suiting Liverpool at the moment. It allows Steven Gerrard to play from the centre behind Torres with what Rafa Benitez feels is enough insurance for the gaps that might be left if Gerrard was just an orthodox central midfield player. Senior's throw, made possible by some good movement by Long. I think he thought he'd handle it because he moved away from the ball. The assistant who was looking straight at him didn't flag. It's come off Kuyt. And for Liverpool, even if it was a foul. Alonso, easing it on for Babel. Playing on the left, but wanting to use his right foot, as that vicious shot showed a few minutes back. Mourinho's cross, only half away by Shorey. Kuyt looking for the head of Torres. Babel will keep it in. Aurelio. Arbeloa was coming around the back, but never with any real conviction that he was going to get there.
A bit too much pace on it for him to make up the yardage there. But they do make the pitch so wide at times, Liverpool, and they have the players to switch the ball so quickly.
There's more than a speck of blood. Doctor is there. Hunt. Reading playing against 10, and that 10 now have got to defend. Free kick conceded by Mascherano. the signal to come back on. Probably not so easy to notice if there's any blood on the red Liverpool shirt. Hasn't had to change it. So Liverpool do have their full complement. What can Reading come up with here with Shuri and Oster? Shuri takes it. Falls for Fabio Aurelio. Looking for Babel with a direct route through the middle. It's an arrow of a pass. And it leads to a corner. They're bearing their play. Liverpool, they're going wide, as David was saying, through the middle at times, and this is right back to front.
Oh, he's quite happy through the middle. Babel played there often enough for Ajax and took it well on his chest to make a little bit of room for the shot. Classic counter-attack.
Diverted away by Harper, but it's Mascherano, cries of shoot, as you'd expect. And his earlier delivery. Harper. A long giving chase. Arbeloa across. Aurelio. And Torres just limped away from that. Just have been a knock. Still wanting the ball. Babel. The referee's pleased that Alonso got another go to play it wide. He's got plenty to say for himself on the pitch. Arbeloa. Cout. Arbeloa again.
Kishore did well, typical of the full-back, very quick feet. Not caught following the ball there, aware that the exchange was going to take Arbeloa in behind him. He's quick enough to get the block on.
There was no Sami Hyypiä today in the starting 11 for Liverpool. But Carragher trying to play it being Hyypiä. Over Skrtel, Alonso got a touch. Comes out to Skrtel here. He picked out Hunt. He's trying to take on Gerrard in a risky area. Got lucky. Doyle ran away from Carragher, helped by Hunt. Arbeloa. He's been in the thick of things, having to defend. Got that bang in the face. His attack when possible and supportive count on this right-hand side. Matejovski looking for Doyle. Reflection on the cross that's suitable for Reina and not for Reading. Will be interesting to see, Davey, how Liverpool progress in this match, having made only a couple of changes. I mean, you've played in Europe and come back for big league games at the weekend. Are we talking right about the emotional and the physical stresses?
I think sometimes there can be a sense of anticlimax, Martin, when you come back from a huge game to the bread and butter of league football. No disrespect to Reading, but sometimes you're a yard off the pace. I think that would be the hope of Stevie Coppell, that if there is such a thing as the right time to come to Anfield, this might be it today. Of course, bases a lot of his selection policy on the physical well-being of his players, but here's Matejovski, who couldn't replicate with a ball that was easier to strike in some ways. Couldn't replicate the just the joy of his goal.
one of the goals of the season. I don't think I'm over-egging the pudding by saying that.
Certainly being the shortlist, it's a training ground goal, isn't it? They go on Monday to Friday, but you very rarely see them like that on a Saturday.
You don't see that very often either. And a good Anfield service. Arbeloa apologising. He and Hunt coming to almost grips with each other. Matejovski charged away from him by Dirk Kuyt. Oster playing a couple of Merseyside derbies for Everton and won one and drew one. And remember, the next visitors here are Everton. And on by Long. Doyle had rather been attracted to the same ball. Side footer by Reina. PK, who wants it, he says. To the feet of Long. Now Babel. 3 minutes plus added time to half-time. And entertainment level here, enhanced by Steve Coppell's decision. Come here and have a go at Liverpool today. Got an early goal through that policy. Attack more often, it's really because they found it hard to get the ball. Torres battling for it there by Matejovski, but Long can't keep it. Mascherano.
They're hustling really well, this Reading side, working really hard off the ball. Even the best of them need a bit of time in the ball at times, and Reading are closing the space pretty well.
It's amazing what a couple of wins can do for you, Davey, isn't it? Because after those 8 straight defeats, I don't think you would have seen anything like the self-belief that Reading are exhibiting here. Doyle spins away for Gerrard, and that's bad news for Reading, but Doyle makes up for his part in that, and Shorey loses out, and it's Kuyt. It might be a long last couple of minutes here for Reading before half-time. Alonso, Babel, easily past Oster, but not away from Liam Rosenior.
Did really well, Rosenior. It's absolutely crucial it doesn't come across the face of goal here. Babel going on the outside, he has tended to come inside. Rosenior did well.
Gerrard just waiting unattended on the edge of the penalty area. Long's header doesn't quite drop his way. Carrigan. It's a good cross. Quite drop for Babel. Skirtle very much in the mood of this match.
Wonderful cross from Jamie Carragher. Any wide player would be proud of this ball. It's just a little bit too deep for Babel. Inge Marsing gets a glance on it. But again, it's the width that Liverpool create. They have made the pitch so wide.
Well, Jamie Carragher, of course, did play at right back at the San Siro on Tuesday. Kuyt. DK needs his acceleration to get across here, and that's a very good clearance in the circumstances. Can't score from Rosed and all that. There's still 2 added minutes, which are just being signalled now.
2 minutes added time
before half-time.
2 minutes.
Alonso. Steve will pick it off, a mistake by Oster. Alonso! Well, that would have been one for the new arrival and his family.
A huge sigh of relief from John Oster. He thought that was going in the top corner. And he was going to have to take the rap for it because he needlessly lost the ball here. Sat up nicely for Alonso, and he's only a yard wide at most. Good dip in the ball.
Well, he's the son of a former professional, and he's just celebrated the arrival of his first child, a son. And maybe that Alonso dynasty will go on way beyond the Xavi's playing days. Gerrard. Well to keep it in. Ooh, Piqué through the back of Torres.
Well, he's saying he took some of the ball, but he had to get through Torres to get it, for me. There's a bit of a purge in this kind of tackle a few seasons ago, but we're seeing more and more of it now. He takes the ball, but he then takes Torres after that.
He didn't actually kick the ball in the middle, which I think he could have done, really. That's maybe what the fans were so incensed about. There's no card for Andre Piqué. Good work again by Hannemann, as you would expect, being the busier goalkeeper. But Reading had their periods of positive play as well. That was taking imagination to a new level, Steven Gerrard. Watch out for the steward. Hey, that's one of his heroes that left a mark on it. Well, it's the shooting in this first half that's left a mark on the game. Mascherano's marvellously struck equaliser after Matiowski had hit an absolute beauty. Shoot on sight from both teams. It's been good to watch, and at half-time at Anfield, it's 1-1.
Office window at the ticket office anytime after today's game. Today's star prize time is 13 minutes 35 seconds. We've got that ticket. We won all expenses paid weekend to watch Liverpool play Manchester.
Well, it's about the midfield players here, and two opening their accounts for their respective clubs. Marek Matiowski with the most difficult ball to strike, coming across him and bouncing up as well. Brilliant for Reading. To Javier Mascherano with the reply for Liverpool, and it flew past Hannemann's left hand. 1-1 at the half-time. Welcome back to Anfield. Javier Mascherano cost Liverpool a lot of money when the deal was finally made permanent recently. £18 million, we're led to believe. So maybe he's got to start scoring some goals as well as doing his normal Sterling shift in midfield to justify such an outlay. Fernando Torres got a couple of bangs in the first half, but not enough to stop him coming out for the second period. Still an issue here at Anfield, the ownership of the club, with that split between the two Americans, Hicks and Gillette, and the attempted takeover from Dubai. Must be an unwanted distraction. And this is a club that's been renowned for so many generations for its stability. Parry on the left with the former owner, David Moores. But they've got a match to worry about here, rather than who's going to be the new power at Anfield in the years to come. Waiting to start the second half. Measure of the task facing any visitor here is that Liverpool have lost only 2 of their last 50 at home in the Barclays Premier League. They were both last year, and both defeats against Manchester United. 50 fall for Kevin Doyle.
I don't think he saw Skirtle coming, and I don't think he had a chance to brace himself here. He's looking at the ball. Skirtle certainly entitled to go and win it.
Here's Bubble. Thought he'd scored in the first half.
He's given him a good out ball, Martin. He's also given Rosenior a problem. Rosenior, I'm sure, would rather play a little bit narrower, but Babel is dragging him right out onto the line, and it's stretching that inside left channel for Torres to get into.
Try and win it well up the pitch. Pressing there forced Fabio Aurelio to play it out.
I think that's where they've looked their most comfortable, Reading. When they are meeting Liverpool up the pitch, they have looked vulnerable when they've been deep. We saw that at the goal. And when they are sat on top of the goalkeeper, they're also liable to lose one from a header. So the more they can get up and get out, I think the more comfortable they'll be.
Talked in the first half about Liverpool's travels over the past few days. Point out again that Reading have been away as well for a warm weather training break in Spain. And it's the star striker from Spain who's ended up on the deck here.
I think Liam Rosenior was expecting a booking there. Certainly caught Torres.
Interesting position for Xabi Alonso. Torres! 20 goals in the Premier League for Liverpool. 18 of them here at Anfield. And he is on an unstoppable run at the moment.
I wonder who he gets away from here, whether it's Doyle or BK as it comes into the back post. I don't think you can blame BK. He's underneath the ball, drilled in beautifully by Gerrard, and it is Kevin Doyle who escaped to the back post. Beautifully clipped in from Gerrard. And there's no pressure on him at all here, no body squeezing at all.
Liverpool lead for the first time today. Are they heading for what, for Torres and his appearances, would be an 8th consecutive win? In his last 8 starts. Reading have worked Liverpool hard in the first half, but we're only 3 minutes into the second half. And Fernando fires again. Liverpool 2, Reading 1. So he's matched the achievement of Robbie Fowler twice in the mid-1990s. Getting 20 goals plus, actually, in the end for Fowler, and Torres has got plenty of time. Another 8 league games for Liverpool after this one. Babel. Gerrard. Whether in free play or in a set piece. Again, Steven Gerrard and Fernando Torres exactly on the same wavelength. Skirtle. Just wonder whether that position that Alonso took was in any way a distraction for the Reading defenders. There was one Spaniard that they found. The other one couldn't have been found. He would have certainly been offside, but maybe something for Rafa Benitez, the Spanish coach, who set it all up in our after-match interview. Matejovski. Well, they came here with plenty of bounce and bubble, Reading. Matejovski's goal only added to that. Well, now conceding 2. Effective. Rosenior. Still trying to get it back to a mistake by Aurelio. Rosenior, drive on past Skirtle, who eased him out in the manner that defenders usually get away with. Across the line of Rosenior's run. There weren't any loud shouts from the Reading contingent, to be fair. A little bit about of that incident about one of the main talking points last weekend in the FA Cup involving Ronaldo and Distin, Manchester United against Portsmouth. Davey?
I don't think that's a penalty. I've been amazed had that been given, Martin. Now and again, I think it's given outside the box, but really inside the box. He's just leaning in.
So we put that down in the book of good defending. Here's Mascherano. Arbeloa.
The moment that mattered here for Liverpool in the second half. It is BK who's picking him up there. See, Torres just drops off to the back post. BK ends up underneath it. Doyle can't get in to apply any pressure. Good movement from Torres and a terrific delivery from Steven Gerrard.
On those 8 matches, including this one, all won. Torres doesn't score again. He's contributed 10 goals. Great force. The best kick from Raider. Here's John Oster for Reading. Matejovski. Good defending centrally there. Rafa Benitez will be pleased with that. No way for a pass to be threaded through. Ingemmarsson, Hunt has undercooked that. Third for Liverpool, you feel, would wrap up proceedings here, but Reading, despite the fact that they had a torrid time in front of goal in that pointless run of 8 games, they're still making chances. And they're not shy in getting players forward if they get the chance, so certainly not out of it at 2-1. Steve Coppell watching the second half from the dugout position, which is his normal mode of behaviour. Well, back pass by Gerrard, and it's almost put Long through.
And it did well, really well. Just as well as in such an advanced position initially. Characteristic slack pass from Steven Gerrard, almost putting his side in trouble.
Count, now Babel. Still Ryan Babel. Rosenior, though, just got the measure of that last switch onto his stronger side.
I think he's been determined for most of the game, Liam Rosenior, to show Babel the outside. He thinks he's quick enough to stop it coming across, but once again he is.
Babel's next job, having won the corner, is to try and discomfort Hanneman. Rosenior has to mark him in that instance as well. Aurelio. Was Cout.
It's caught at the corner, Reading 2 against 1. Nobody going out here to go man for man in the corner with Liverpool. Plenty of time to throw the ball in.
Torres, incidentally, the second Premier League player to reach the 20-goal mark this season, behind Cristiano Ronaldo. Just about sums up the support that he deserves here. He's very quickly a major force for Liverpool. It's easy to say, well, if you spend that sort of money, it should happen straight away, but we all know it doesn't. Arbeloa not going to give Hunt anything. Least of all the ball when a quick throw was on.
Well, he said it's been a good contest, and it certainly has been. Getting a little bit bad-tempered, you'd have to say.
Rosenior trying to give Babel maybe a taste of his own medicine, and going for the pass in behind Aurelio. That will annoy Steve Coppell, because Long actually didn't have to foul Aurelio then. He could have. There's nothing on for the defender except to knock the ball out for a Reading throw.
Oh, I did him a favour. It allows Liverpool out now. They can push up now. Otherwise, Aurelio had a problem getting out from left back.
Might still encourage Reading here is the number of home draws, 6 of them, that Liverpool have had in the Premier League this season. The sides down in the lower reaches like Reading. Birmingham for one, Wigan for another. Have picked up a point at Anfield. Mascherano. Oh, Matyjowski. Annoyed with the way Mascherano went to ground. Had his own say in the Argentine's ear. I don't know what language would have been used there by the player from the Czech Republic.
I don't think he needed much encouragement to go to ground here, Mascherano, did he? There's very little contact there. He's on his way down before if there is any contact. In fact, there's none. See Matyjowski's point.
Here's Hunt. Doyle will chase. Carragher should head him off. Arbeloa's header. Drops for Harper. Oster, Harper, nice football by Reading through midfield. Harper again, oh, he really fired it at Hunt. Just that. It brought Arbeloa into the equation because Hunt had to stretch for the pass and then had to try and get it back, and it's a yellow card. That will actually mean a lecture from the FA. He's reached 5 for the season.
I don't think Mr. Maron or the referee could allow much more of this without clamping down, without giving him the message. I think Stephen Hunt is much frustrated about the pass that he got. A rare opportunity to get running at Arbeloa in the last third.
Yeah, just stretching for it. He transferred his weight, couldn't keep the ball as tight as he would have done otherwise. Skirtle and Long. Another physical battle.
I don't think there's much in that, Martin. We talked about the Skirtle one inside the box, where I said he was leaning in, and I don't think Shane Long's doing anything other than lean in here. Well, the Adams up there, but that's not what it's given for.
Andre Marin has been a decent official from the player's point of view here. He hasn't been brandishing the cards when they've occasionally given him the opportunity to do so. It's guided on by Long. Carragher. Count pushing well up and trying to flick it on. Gerrard had gone down the outside. Past the 15-minute mark in the second half. Been a good second half so far for Liverpool and for Fernando Torres in particular. Liverpool lead by 2-1. Not going Shane Long's way at the moment. I wonder whether Dave Kitson might be ready to come on. Long's getting frustrated. It's just the preliminary limbering up by Kitson. I think the bench want him back. Change not long in the making, one would suspect. Layers to come off. It's a modern trend for players not to wear their shirts on the bench. Haven't yet received an adequate explanation for it. Maybe that extra warming garment has to be next to the skin. And you don't want to play in it when you come on. That's the best I can come up with. Here's Torres. And now Babel. Step over against Rosenior. Well, everything but the goal.
Well, once again, Rosenior shows him the outside, but this time the fullback can't get the block in. And he's just scooped it a little bit. If he plays it across goal, he has good support at the back post. And he makes a yard here. He's every right to try and get the shot away. And he's just spooned it a little bit. Lovely change of pace.
Number 24, Shane Long, being replaced by number 12, Dave Kitson.
Here's the expected change. Long has started 3 games in a row. Only 21 years old. Has still got bags of promise to be brought out of him by Steve Coppell and the coaching staff. But the more mature figure of Dave Kitson. He did score as a substitute against Manchester City. Not a happy player substituted there, and Steve Coppell's going to do something about that. He said he was young and impetuous, maybe. Oh, Ingemar Marsson. Well, the back pass there that had Hanneman reaching for it with the right boot, with Gerrard doing the same for Liverpool.
I've seen a couple of them today. Both goalkeepers having to play sweeper at times. I think Hanneman always favourite.
Alonso. One way that perhaps Long will be particularly frustrated. He will feel that Kitson is, as the senior man, very likely to come back into the team. This big match at home to Birmingham City next week. Gerrard. That's a trip by Ingemarson. He might try and convince the referee otherwise.
Not a bad free kick to give away though. And he's, I think he'll be quite content to take a yellow for that. Otherwise, Steven Gerrard's breaking into a right good area. Lovely little spin from Gerrard. He's goal side.
Aurelio. The back of Matyjowski. Alonso. Set himself up and then trying to set Gerrard up. Matyjowski with a quick free kick. Mascherano, the more open it becomes, the more likely Liverpool look to add to their lead. Gerrard still going, and the deflection has got Hanneman. Heart fluttering for a moment, but good footwork from the goalkeeper to be ready when the ball did drop.
James Harper does really well here actually, because he takes the pace off the ball. Eventually gets out to Harper, took a big nick off him.
Hunt. Rather rueful Shane Long, who's still flushed, and the shirt that he discarded when he came off, and he's back to Reading, and Steve Coppell telling him to behave properly.
Well, so he should. I mean, you would hope that he's angry at coming off, but there are other ways of showing it, surely.
Well, he mentioned that Kitson didn't have his shirt on when he was getting ready to be substituted, to be brought on rather. I don't know what the code of contact is for players once they've been taken off, but you don't sling it down to the ground in front of the manager and expect no repercussions. Reading is still in this. They haven't really suggested that they've got a second goal in them, but with Kitson on, and Liverpool may be getting a little nervy if it stays at 2-1. Because dropping 2 home points here is not on their agenda.
You see earlier on the season, Martin, the draw with Wigan, you talked about Liverpool 2-1 up, posting and then lost a late one.
This is Rossignol. Fine ball up to Torres. Aurelio not matched this time by the striker's control. BK. Smith saying it came off Doyle. Oster. Kitson. Now Rossignol. Doyle offside, but close.
Was he? Carragher deepest for Liverpool. Was he offside?
Out. Here's Babel. consistent. There is a problem here. For Martin Skrtel. Well, he looks a pretty rugged figure, doesn't he? He's come back strongly from a heavy fall. By Kitson. Doyle to feed on scraps, really. Coming up to the 70-minute mark. Take it ahead by referee Mariner. PK actually was slightly balked by Torres in the first place. Certainly seemed to strike a hand.
Ends up underneath it. Well, he might have been blindsided, that the referee. Hasn't done much wrong, the official.
Aurelio. Now Carragher. Here's Kaut. Anticipation of the back heel by Hunt. When he got there, he couldn't do much with it. Jimmy Kebe, the recent recruit from Lens in France. Ready to come on. Gerrard spotted Babel. Another problem for Morrison, well, it should have been. Got a bit ahead of himself. Emilio lacking his own ability on the ball against Kitson. Arbeloa, Mascherano, Gerrard. Broken up in the end by Matyjowski. A little rethink on the bench. John Oster's number going up. We're considering removing Stephen Hunt. Kebe's fourth appearance as a substitute. Oster accepts his fate a little more amicably than Long did. Aurelio! Carried away by Hanneman. The reactions by Torres, instinctive header as the ball broke loose. Still in some peril here. The senior again edges out Ryan Babel.
Well, I guess his glove's behind it here, Marcus Hanneman, but he doesn't get it safe, he doesn't get it wide. Torres is almost onto it, had to react very quickly and couldn't get it on the target. Hanneman doesn't quite deal with it.
Aurelio scored a terrific goal recently at Bolton. Matyjowski might be pegged back for that. Mascherano. Not for the first time this afternoon. Kaut kept going though when one or two Reading players stopped. Mascherano. Here's Kaut. Mariner has remembered that Matyjowski did foul Alonso, and it wasn't his first foul of the afternoon. That's the end of the day for Marek Matyjowski. It's a day he'll never forget. He has scored a truly outstanding goal that gave Reading the lead here, but he comes off at 2-1 down.
Well, regardless of how the game pans out, you'll certainly remember this moment for a long, long time. Won't score a better goal.
Top corner, top class. Khalifa Cisse has come on. Here he is. He was in the team as a central defender until he had a rather harrowing afternoon against Aston Villa recently. So we've got Hunt now having a go on the right. Probably on the left, Cisse in the middle of midfield. Steve Coppell has rung his changes. Take into account the rather acrimonious departure of Long to accommodate Kitson. Cisse. Rossini's cross, skirted solidly with the header. Went BK. Kitson. Can Doyle reach this? Carragher holds him off. Doyle wants a penalty. He's not going to get it.
Carragher did really well, Martin. Initially he was wrong side, did really well, good body strength. But that's all it takes at 2-1, regardless of how much Liverpool are bossing this game. One slip, 2 points gone.
Mascherano. Defending is the Liverpool version of events. Reading might have had another take on it. Certainly Doyle. Ingimarsson. Harper. He's getting it to Shorey. Back for Harper again. Scored, of course, so late at Middlesbrough. That was a winning goal. Reading are looking for an equaliser here. Kebe. Miss-hit clearance by Carragher, and it went to a teammate. Shorey. Kitson trying to work with Doyle, still a dummy to the defender. Kebe comes back. Cisse. Wrong option.
Good spell in the match for Reading, though. Liverpool had this man to thank just a moment ago. I think he did really well. Kitson does brilliantly initially, leaning into Skirtle. Jamie Carragher stands his ground, leans in. Doyle looking for a penalty, although his left arm is around his waist there. I'd been amazed had that been given.
Free header for Ingimarsson. Hunt. Here's Babel. Gerrard. Well, Piqué didn't think it was a foul. Steven Gerrard saying with one or two added words that he thought it was.
I think when players are going at full tilt, it takes very little to put them down, and I think that was the case there. Might have been a bit of contact, but if this is a booking, it's a harsh one.
We'll have to go back and Rossini, who's a sensible kind of chap, Telling Piqué to take it on the chin and get on with it. Ingimarsson trying to add some calming words as well.
Steven Gerrard was slightly off balance. He didn't need much to go down there. There's a bit of contact, but it's a half booking.
Half booking, full-blooded argument though. Aurelio to take the disputed free kick. Babel. Down by Kitson, taken from him by by Alonso rather. Babel, it's a bit messy from Liverpool's point of view, but with Gerrard on the ball, there's something more clear-cut here, but it's a cross that's held by Hanneman. Kitson. Alonso. Torres sets off again. Crossing early. There were 3 up there. Maybe a bit of weariness stepping in as well, as Reading have looked fresher than Liverpool over the last 10 minutes or so. Harper. Reading chasing forward. Obviously there will be a gap or two. Gerrard, what might be his last kick of the ball in this game, and hedging over a substitution. Benayoun. They've added a 1 to the 8. And it's Dirkkamp. That makes sense, really. Even with only 10 minutes to go, removing Gerrard at only 2-1 might have been seen as risky.
I think they're dead right. He's still a major influence in this Liverpool side, and the game hasn't been put to bed yet. Rafa Benitez must be feeling he should have been spared this anxiety. I mean, Liverpool have bossed the game. Apart from a sluggish start, they've been just about in complete control. Bit of work to do yet, though.
Good header by Skirth. Cisse. Might have been a push on Kebe by Arbeloa. Kebe. Here's Harper. Across to Rosenior. Slide was affected by Aurelio. He's turning defending against Hunt into counter-attacking for Liverpool here. Mascherano. Benayoun. Still 2-1 to Liverpool. Alonso. Just losing a bit of their crispness in their passing. If Liverpool do win, they would go on to 59 points from 30 games. It would equal their best 38-game season, 95-96 and 2001 and 2002 at this stage, but still too far off the pace for really to be thinking about a challenge to win the league title, although of course they've got these big games coming up. If they were to win them all, put them back in the frame, he would feel that. Risa for Babel. Maybe if they go to Old Trafford and win, if they beat Everton here, if they go to the Emirates in the league, let alone what happens in the Champions League and win, you know, we'd have to see in that short sprint towards the finishing line from that stage on, they'd surely be back in it.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's still a bit of encouragement left in their arithmetic, but it's a really big challenge for them.
Yes, they'd need the shortcomings of others, as well as beating the big boys in that sequence of matches. Gerrard. Good tackle by Ingimarsson in the end. Shorey trying to spin away from Gerrard's persistence. Carragher playing safe. Probably got a mix in the minds here of the Liverpool players. People like Jamie Carragher and here making sure the defending is right.
Yeah.
He'll be calling the midfield players back in to keep the shape.
That's the problem. The natural tendency at 2-1 up with what, 7 minutes to go is to drop off and protect what you have. But I think the manager would far rather have them up the pitch, play as much of what is left of this game in the Reading half.
A lovely ball with his so-called weaker foot by Shaw. It deserved better control from Jimmy Kebe. On a miscalculation by Arbeloa. Alonso tackled as he tried to move it away, and it is a goal kick. But again, fine margins at just a one-goal lead for Liverpool.
Just didn't quite get in early enough. He wasn't short of support here as he broke. Carricker did well to stand his ground. But after that, Reading a big appeal here for a corner. I think the referee got that one right.
Arbeloa. Rosenior. We're getting to the edge of the attacking third, Reading, but we still can't find a way to find some penetrating play. They've got 5 minutes plus added time left. Torres' goal. Still casting him in the role again of match winner. Trying to stand his ground.
Too often for me, the defender gets the benefit of the doubt. His left arm is up, to be fair there, but I think that's what Reading will do now. They'll knock along and play off this fella.
It's just as well it didn't go the other way, because although Kitson fell outside the penalty area, I think the contact was inside. Anyway, Rainer's emphasising the point that it was outside the penalty area by spotting up his free kick here. Cisse. Doyle still being asked to chase. Stolen by Mascherano from Cisse. Card is out again.
I do think Mr. Maron has a choice there. And it's a cynical one. If he doesn't bring Torres down, he's getting into good space again.
Well, they're edging towards the 3 points. A third goal so late in proceedings. Settle any anxiety here at Anfield. Arbeloa. Mascherano. So Arbeloa again. No one giving themselves the luxury of too many touches. Until Shorey steps in with a dribbling and a pass that's easily spotted by Carragher. There's an acute sense of where the danger comes. Benayoun. Torres, Vic's got to be careful. Forces Torres to play it back to Xabi Alonso. No one had gone across the near post area for Reese's little half-volley ball in.
Surprised he didn't take it first time, Martin, and drilled that across. He's so adept to that.
Carragher's header drops for Kebe. confronts Arbeloa, but not with any great confidence that he's going to get past him. Player who's not played any top division football in France. A little bit of a rough diamond that needs a bit of polishing at Reading, Steve Coppell. Look at the space for Xabi Alonso here. Been a big week for him, family-wise and Liverpool football-wise.
Well, Ingemarson was worried here about Torres. That's why he doesn't get out to the ball. You see him pointing there at Torres. By the time he does go out, Alonso's over it, got himself set, and you'll feel he should be doing better there.
Well, we started with the long shots and the goals. Alonso trying to wrap it up on a similar theme. Kebe. Kitson. Kebe again, there's Carragher again. You can't coach that, I don't think.
No, it's all instincts. There's so many scraps.
Sure he's crossed though. Carragher's there yet again. Ingemarson. Rather slid off his foot, then off the head of Hunt. Kitson. Seeing it across first time, half blocked by Risa, volleyed away by Aurelio to good effect. Torres. Reading's throw. And Kitson just misjudged it, Skirtle maybe likewise. Turns well.
There'll be a
Skirtle now is getting his shirt grabbed.
4 minutes.
Well, it's not lost yet for Reading. 4 added minutes.
Yeah, it's a free kick that Liverpool will be delighted with here. Let's get Skirtle out of jail, nowhere to go. But Reading doing well here, squeezing the game right up. They've really got to try and shorten the game and allow the midfield to get in touch with the front players.
Anyone was jumping at the ball then. Okay. Really was no margin for error for Rafa Benitez and his players today. That still applies in added time, of course. Kitson got a foot to it, but pull back here because Andre Mariner is concerned about an injury.
Just wonder what the decision is on Martin, whether it's a free kick for Wigan, for Reading here. I think it is. Free kick given on Kitson, a good chance here for Reading to throw something into the box. Nice angle here. First one, but referee allowed play to go. Kitson was then taken down.
And that's why the free kick is absolutely right, David. Further forward. Well, this represents a worry for Liverpool. Sure he takes. It's Kitson, who is a very good volleyer. And he says Steven Gerrard blocked it with a hand.
Terrific free kick from Nicky Shorey. I think it was Skirtle who won the first ball. Under real pressure on the back foot. I reckon they should be getting a penalty here. You see the ball's travelled very little distance. I don't think Steven Gerrard's left arm is really deliberately extended.
So it's only a corner. The right arm of Rayner was extended there. It's collected by Benayoun. Reading trying to hurry back. Oh, and Cisse has only played it against Mascherano. His eyes were lighting up again. The midfield player from Argentina, whose goal brought Liverpool level and won the crumb of comfort for Reading, is cost Liverpool, in broad terms, more than £40 million to get Mascherano and Torres, the 2 goal scorers, on their team sheet. But they come up with big goals. Paid back a dividend on that. That's BK brought down by Gerrard. It's another ball into the box. BK, who did score against Chelsea right at the start of the season. And Hanneman has got the signal from the bench.
The substitution coming on for the red number 4, Sami Hyypiä.
Sami Hyypiä
Leaving the field, number 8,
for Steven Gerrard. He doesn't like going even this late before the battle is truly won, but it's the sheer height of Hyypiä.
Yeah.
He might only have to win one header, but it could be the difference between winning the game and dropping 2 home points. Shorey puts it in, and Reina has to save it, and a second attempt.
It's an awkward one, just kicked up in front of his gloves there, difficult one to take in.
Hanneman's just crossed the halfway line on his way back, and Alonso, the master shooter from long range. Remember that goal at Luton in the FA Cup? I think one here against Newcastle as well. It couldn't have fallen to a more dangerous opponent for Reading than Javi Alonso.
He's only a few yards out.
Well, he finished with the longest shot of all, and I suppose it was a long shot for Reading to take points off Liverpool today. They led, but Fernando Torres capped a marvellous week for him personally and for Liverpool with another winning goal here, with a header after Javier Mascherano had made this a memorable day for him with his first Liverpool goal, and a cracker of a shot it was. Matyjowski had scored wonderfully for Reading early on, although Steve Coppell came here with a bold battle plan. In the end, Reading couldn't quite get enough of the ball. Liverpool get the points, the 5th win in a row for them in the Barclays Premier League, and it maintains their momentum for 4th place and maybe beyond, but that will depend on some very big fixtures which lie ahead. And I suppose for people like Steven Gerrard, who had an unhappy afternoon at the Madejski Stadium in December, a certain amount of revenge against Reading today. A lot to talk about. The final score is Liverpool 2, Reading 1. Reading drew first blood here with a goal that didn't in the end get them anything from the game, but maybe it deserved to. Wonderful strike from Marek Matyjowski, crashed in off the underside of the Liverpool crossbar. But before half-time, indeed before the 20-minute mark, Liverpool had hit back, and Javier Mascherano showing that it's more to his game than just midfield challenging, with a splendid shot from Liverpool's point of view. And just 1 goal in the second half, and it was a landmark goal for Fernando Torres, his 20th in the Premier League this season. And it was good enough to win the game for Liverpool against the gallant Reading by 2 goals to 1.